to meet your Arizona Rattlers. Let's meet the offensive starters. An offensive lineman from Portland State, number 55, Brennan Carvalho. An offensive lineman from Tennessee State, number 60, Sherman Carter. An offensive lineman from Tennessee Martin, number 73, Joe Gibbs. An offensive lineman from East Carolina, number 65, Will Simmons. A fullback from Florida A&M, number 9, Michael Benson. A wide receiver from Sacramento State, number 81, Chase Deatter. A wide receiver from Texas State, number 8, Marquis White. A wide receiver from Missouri, number 4, Jared Perry. A wide receiver from Western New Mexico, number 18, Renell Pompey. And at quarterback from Cincinnati, number 10, Nick Davila. Defensive coordinator Dave Ewert, assistant head coach Connie Kawhi, and head coach Kevin Guy.
Good evening and welcome to the U.S. Airways Center Auction Indian Community Field, where tonight the 2015 Arena football season is underway as the Arizona Rattlers host the Spokane Shock. The three-time defending Arizona Rattlers get their first crack at the 2015 season. I'm Jared Cohen, going to be joined tonight by Seth Joyner. Let's take it back down to the field for owner Ron Schertz.
You know, when we decided to buy this team in May of 2011, if you guys remember the press conference, I said we're going to bring the Arizona Rattlers back the way it used to be in the 90s and the early 2000s. And here we are with a three-peat. So we can quit talking about the three-peat. We can quit talking about the three-peat. We can get on with this season. Take a quick look at the Trons.
Man, please direct your attention now to the Southwest Rafters as we unveil the banner that will live forever in the Snake Pit, celebrating your 2014 Arena Bowl champion, Arizona Rattlers. Colors for tonight's game are presented by Scout Troop 440. Now to honor America, the Rattlers ask that you please rise and please remove your hats as we present the playing of our national anthem performed by Dr. Jesse McGuire. Dr. Jesse McGuire.
And we're ready to rock and roll here from U.S. Airways Center in downtown Phoenix. The now three-time defending Arena Bowl champion Arizona Rattlers kick things off for their 2015 season against the Spokane Shock tonight. My name is Jared Cohen. That is Seth Joyner, former NFL linebacker, joining me today here on the broadcast. And Seth, let's jump right into this game. Some keys as we get things started. We did the banner, we've done the ring. Now we're focused on 2015. We're focusing on tonight. What are some of the keys for tonight?
Well, you know, Jared, at wide receiver, the only player that's returning from last year with any great experience is Kerry Reed. So this first game will be an opportunity to see what the Rattlers have done in the offseason to improve on that position. The second thing is being able to keep Davila protected in the pocket. Over on the other side of the ball, you got James Ruffin, who led the league in sacks last year. So that's a major job they've got to take care of. And obviously, in any football game that you play, turnover is a big deal. Last season, Marquise Floyd led the league with I believe 13 interceptions.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, if they can turn the ball over, get some fumbles, turn to a great situation for them, give the offense more scoring opportunities.
What a magical season it was last year in 2014. You had 3-4 players that were all Arena League. You had the MVP and most outstanding offensive player, Nick Davila, at quarterback. You had an all-first-team offensive lineman in Michael Huey. the defensive back of the year in Marquise Floyd, as you mentioned, in 2013. All of those guys are back. However, you alluded to it at the top with the new wide receivers. There are a lot of new faces on this team, so there's going to be a little bit, maybe some growing pains early on for the Rattlers as they get things started in 2015.
Well, I think anytime you come into a new season, you're going to have some growing pains no matter what. You're going to have turnover on your team because of injuries, because of age, and things of that nature. But obviously, you got a lot of new wide receivers, so timing is an issue. There's not the familiarity with the receivers from last year. So hopefully they can quickly get some continuity going and get off to a good start tonight.
As for the Spokane Shock, they really finished strong last season. They got off to a slow start, but won their last 5 games to get the 3 seed in the conference for the Arena League playoffs. They have a new quarterback. Last year was Tommy Grady at quarterback. This year it is number 22. Don't see a number 22 at quarterback very often. He goes by the name of Carson Kaufman, a former Kansas State quarterback. He's going to be the signal caller for the Shock here today.
Well, it'll be interesting tonight to see how the Shock start off. Like you said, they started off really slow last year. I know every head coach wants his team to get a great start to begin the season, but they've undergone quite a bit of change as well, especially at the quarterback position. You want stability there, so it'll be interesting to see how the Shock can get going in this game as well, how Carson winds up playing for this football team, and what kind of improvements the Shock have made as well.
All-time series. These two teams have played 14 times since 2010. That was the Spokane Shock's inaugural season. Arizona leads the series 7-6, and the Rattlers took 2 of 3 last season, the only loss being in Week 17 after the Rattlers had already clinched the conference and the number 1 seed. So maybe some complacency set in, but for the most part, it's been the Rattlers that have owned this matchup over the last couple seasons.
Well, I mean, especially they fared extremely well here at home. I don't think today will be any different.
Absolutely no question about it. The Auction Indian Community Field is rocking. There's a great crowd here today to get some Arena League football off and running. The Rattlers, I believe, won the toss. No, excuse me, the Shock won the toss, and they have elected to receive. And an interesting storyline, and I want to get through all of them before the game even starts, Seth, but kicking is a storyline in this game. And you think a lot of touchdowns in arena football, not as much kicking. But if you talk to head coach Kevin Guy for the Rattlers, kickoffs was an area of, I don't want to say weakness, but an area of improvement. And Jeremy Shelley is the new kicker for the Rattlers this season. They've gone through 4 in 3 years. They need him to step up.
Well, when you kick off, you don't want to just kick it into the net. You want to use those little metal outlines to help you, because, I mean, if the returner can catch it clean off the net, he's right out of the gate, and you got major problems. So I can understand Coach Guy's issue with that, trying to find a guy that can place the ball where you want it placed to give your coverage team the best chance that they have at being able to cover the kick and not allowing long returns.
Jeremy Shelley out of Alabama, the Crimson Tide. He's the new kicker. He's getting set to kick things off for the Rattlers. Back to receive for the Spokane Shock. A very good playmaker by the name of Sam Pope. He is back there to receive. Also back there is Richard Dodd Masters. He looks like to be the one that's on the deep end in the end zone to receive this kick. 2015 Arena League season just about underway. The Arizona Rattlers looking to do something that's never been done. 4 consecutive Arena Bowl championships, and that all starts right now as Dodd Masters receives that ball in the back of the end zone and doesn't get to the 10-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 9-yard line, where Carson Kaufman sets up at quarterback for the Spokane Shock. Yeah. A lot of returners on this defense for the Rattlers, especially in the secondary. When you look at Marquise Floyd, Jeremy Kellum, and Arkeith Brown. High motion man on the far side. It's a quick pass, and it's caught for a short gain. Mike Washington there on the catch. Kaufman 1 for 1. Jeremy Kellum on the stop.
Great play by Kellum. Just sat in his zone, little short pass. He just broke up on it, made the tackle.
And it's about short a couple yards. It'll be 2nd down for the Spokane Shock. The high motion man is Mike Washington, 2 to the right of Kaufman. Back to throw, an out route, and it is incomplete. Marquise Floyd on the coverage of Mike Washington.
Coverage by Floyd.
Yeah, that's good coverage by Floyd. The pass wasn't really that good, but that was still good coverage. It seems like the Shock would come out and want to nickel and dime their way down the field with a bunch of short passes.
Marquise Floyd, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the reigning defensive back of the year, first team All-Arena League, 13 interceptions in one season. That is not an easy feat. High motion man, back to throw. It's a quick throw in the direction of Rashad Carter, incomplete. And we're looking at a fourth down situation here. And Seth, a turnover on downs is just as good as an interception in the Arena League.
Hey, especially with the field position that they would have. That would be fantastic for them to be able to get a stop here.
So a fourth down situation for the Spokane Shock on their first offensive drive of the game. Have to gain about 4 or 5 yards. Carson Kaufman trips to the right, back to throw. Has some time. He's going to air it out. Has an open man downfield. That's Washington who makes the catch. Touchdown, Spokane Shock. They strike first here to get things started here from Auction Indian Community Field.
I tell you, that was an awesome route. They came out 3 straight times. They threw short to intermediate routes, and they catch Kellum there thinking that they may just go for the first down, and he runs an out and up for the touchdown.
It is not easy to get that wide open, but Washington able to get behind the Rattlers coverage, and the Shock turn a potential turnover on downs into a touchdown. Into kick. Taylor Rowan for the extra point. Snap is good. Kick is through. 12-11 left here in the opening quarter as the Rattlers are silenced a little bit as the Spokane Shock strike early. We'll take a quick break. 7-0 Spokane over the Rattlers. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Tonight's item of the game, the Full House Championship t-shirt that Sierra and Morgan of the Sidewinders are showing off right now. It's a must-have for every Ninth Man member, a daily reminder of the Rattlers' 5 Arena Bowl championships on sale tonight for just $22 in the team shop. The place to shop for the latest and greatest in Rattlers merchandise. Ninth Man, it's time to march down 2 lucky Rattlers fans to the best seat in the house in tonight's Able Funeral Services seat upgrade. Please welcome the strike crew as we upgrade 2 lucky Rattlers fans to sweet seats in section 102, row 2. Enjoy the game courtesy of Able Funeral Services.
Back here from Auction Indian Community Field. Silencing touchdown. A lot of celebration here in the opening moments of this game. New banner, the 5th banner for the Rattlers, but the Spokane Shock not intimidated whatsoever. They answer back with a big touchdown on 4th down.
Well, I'm sure that Coach Edwards, defensive coordinator for the Rattlers, can't be happy with what just transpired. They did a great job of stopping them on the first 3 downs, and then they give up a stop and go on 4th down for a touchdown.
So back to receive our Keith Brown. He made some big-time plays last season on kick returns. He returned a couple of them. Set to kick it away, it's Taylor Rowan. And Rowan booms that one away, and it's going to be played off the net. It goes out of the back of the end zone, so the officials will blow that down. It'll be a touchback. And taking over for the first time in the 2015 season. What a special 2014 it was for quarterback Nick Davila, reigning MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. And he takes over once again at the helm for the Rattlers.
At quarterback for the Rattlers.
The Rattlers started 14-0 last season. That is a record, and a lot of it had to do with the play of their quarterback.
Well, we'll get an opportunity to see here real quick how he messes with his new wide receiver.
Yep, definitely. No question about it. A lot of familiar faces. Back to throw. A quick strike just across this 15-yard line. A nice job right there by Marquis White sitting in the middle of that zone.
Great job. Great job. He didn't push down too far, got down, sat down in front of the defense. It's a good rhythm for the quarterback to be able to throw it on time, complete it for a first down.
So a 1st and 10 for the Rattlers on their first play of the game from the 17-yard line on Spokane side of the field. It'll be 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Nick Davila. The high motion man is Jared Perry. Davila back to throw, has a nice pocket, plenty of time, downfield, caught in stride. Jared Perry into Spokane zone, inside the 5-yard line, and a late flag at the end of that play. And it looks like there might have been a late hit after the play was dead. That flag looks to be on Richard Dodd Masters at the end of that play.
I tell you, that was just great timing and great route right there. And half the distance. I mean, not a big penalty, but because of where they are on the field. But hey, every little bit helps.
Sometimes in the Arena League, being closer doesn't exactly help you because the end zone isn't 10 yards deep like it is in the outdoor game.
I mean, unless you're going to hand it off to your new big fullback and try to pound it in from there.
Yeah, no question. That is fullback Michael Benson. He is the new guy on the team at the fullback position. 6 foot, 275 out of Florida A&M. I mean, that's not your ordinary running back size. I wouldn't want to be in the way of him. We'll see if they go to him right here, first and goal for the Rattlers.
Absolutely.
That's what they do. They hand it off to Benson. He bulldozes his way through for the Rattlers. Touchdown. And the Rattlers strike right back after giving up that touchdown on the shocked first possession of the game.
They went with the motion, tried to fool the defense, but hey, this is just straight downhill running. The running back got great push, but the offensive line had phenomenal push on that left side as well.
And on the left side of the line is 2014 All-Arena League Michael Huey going behind him for that smash mouth football type of run for Benson. And now it's Shelley in for the extra point, and that's good. His first extra point as a member of the Rattlers is through. So with 9:51 here left in the first quarter, we're all tied here at 7. You're listening to back-to-back-to-back Arena Bowl champion Arizona Rattlers football.
All right, ninth man, it's time for the Marley's wing delivery. You're the winner of free dinner if you're seated in section 113, row 10, seat 16. Congratulations and enjoy your Marley's wings. And a reminder, ninth man, the fun continues after tonight's game at Marley's, the Rattlers post-game party headquarters, located just a touchdown throw away from the U.S. Airways Center at 2nd Street, just north of Washington. Marley's is your official Rattlers post-game party headquarters.
So the Rattlers even things up. 7-7 is the score. And the Rattlers last season, Seth Joyner led the AFL 63.9 points per game, and that was about as efficient of an offensive possession as you'll see.
Well, absolutely. 3 plays and a touchdown. You couldn't ask for better efficiency than that.
No question about it. And 2 completions, 2 for 2 is Nick Davila. You mentioned at the top of the broadcast, new receivers getting acclimated. No Maurice Purify, no Rod Windsor, no Tyson Poots. Purify and Windsor are injured. Poots is now in Las Vegas. Kerry Reed, one of the returners, but it doesn't look like he's seen any action yet in this game. So a new slate of wide receivers, but no problem on that first drive.
Well, the beauty is guys are going to be replaced. It's up to the coaches to coach those guys up, the new guys that you bring in, get them acclimated to, what you're trying to do, the new terminology and things of that nature, and you've got a proven quarterback. So if you get good coaching for your receivers and your quarterback can be as efficient as he was last year, shouldn't really be much of a drop-off.
Kick is away from Shelley, received in the end zone by Dodd Masters. Kind of a short kick right there, so a nice return out to the 22-yard line where Kaufman and the Spokane Shock will take over 1st and 10, trying to make it 2 possessions in a row with a touchdown.
Well, see, as far as the kicking game, you can understand Coach Guy's trepidation. I mean, 2 short kicks. Obviously, he didn't get that far last time, but look at the field position that they create this time because they can't get the ball to the net.
So it'll be 1st and 10 Shock from their own 20-yard line. The high motion man is Rashad Carter. Mike Washington had the big touchdown on the first drive. They hit Carter across the middle, into Rattlers territory to the Rattlers 20-yard line. Jeremy Kellerman on the stop, and it looks like an offensive lineman in the backfield is down at the end of that play. Looks to be big 75, Patrick Afif.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 77, Arizona.
And there's a personal foul on 77, Antaj Hawthorne, in the backfield. At the end of that play, it looks like he kind of was diving forward and dove into the knees of Afif there.
That looks like just friendly fire there more than anything else. I mean, didn't look like it was something intentional, not something that I think that really deserved a 10-yard penalty. He was just kind of playing the play. He got pushed and rolled into the guy.
When you're a big guy like that, you got that kind of momentum. It's not easy to stop on a dime.
You're not stopping all of that momentum going in one direction.
No question about it. So after the penalty, it is now 1st and 10 shock now from the Rattlers 10-yard line, and they look right on their way into position to strike once again. Afif will leave the field. He is able to walk off under his own power. But it looks like checking in for him. Haven't seen who it is quite yet. It looks like they might have moved Sam Tuapa to the left side. And they have a new center in the game. So they kind of shifted some linemen after Afif goes out with the injury. 1st and 10 from the Rattlers 10-yard line. Trips to the left of Kaufman. He's back to throw. No pressure. Has a man in the corner of the end zone, but overthrown. Incomplete, intended for Washington.
You know, I talked about roughing on the other side, bringing pressure, and what that would mean to the Rattlers quarterback all day long. But it seems like, you know, the Rattlers have really got it turned up. I mean, that was some good pressure right there, and I think that's what they're going to have to do.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 now from the 10. 8:12 left here in the first quarter. We're all tied up at 7. Shock got on the board first with a 41-yard touchdown catch for Mike Washington. Kaufman back to throw on 2nd down. A strike to Washington in the back of the end zone, and the Shock are on the board once again. And Mike Washington, a thorn in the side of the Rattlers secondary here so far.
Well, I tell you, that slot guy is giving Mr. Kellum a rough time right now. I mean, that's tough coverage when that guy is moving like that and you're standing still and he's got a two-way go. The best way to cover that guy is to get up on him somehow and get a jam on him, but the way that they're playing their coverage, that guy's going to have a field day all day long.
Rowan, the extra point is blocked. It's blocked away. That's a live ball. The Shock will recover it. And there's a lot of extra pushing and shoving at the end of the game. That's what you like to see. This is the first time either team's had an opportunity to play against someone other than themselves, so you know there's a little extra intensity. There are 2 flags that came down at the end of that play. But nonetheless, a blocked extra point keeps it a 13-7 game. We'll see what the flags are.
That seemed like a little retribution for the for the personal foul on their offensive lineman.
Guys taking matters into their own hands.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 51, Spokane. That penalty will be enforced on the first play after the kickoff. Timeout.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Seth. There might have been a little retribution there and frustration after giving up a blocked kick. But we'll take a break. The Shock go back on top 13-7. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
9th man on media day, the Rattlers got quite a scare from a fake snake, as you can see right now on Rat TV.
We got a new sponsor, Gatorade. So I'm just gonna, can you just reach in there and grab a Gatorade out of there?
Oh! Got me, huh? What? Oh, shit! Y'all got me. Is this a joke or just like for real? Oh, Jesus. Now, you didn't get that on camera, huh? Oh, man. Come on, man. Oh!
You know I'm afraid of snakes like Indiana Jones, right?
Oh!
Just grab one of the waters.
Oh! Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, that's some good stuff right there. If I saw a snake in a cooler, that wouldn't make me feel too good either. I don't know about you. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from Auction Indian Community Field at the U.S. Airways Center in downtown Phoenix. The Shock get back on top of the Rattlers 13-7, and Mike Washington getting behind that Rattlers secondary, Seth.
Yeah, they're having a hard time with that slot guy, that move guy. Like I said earlier, that double goal that he has where he can go in or out, that's a tough route to cover for anybody. Because if it's a true option route, if he goes in, he can still break out.
So Rowan with a great kick, and our Keith Brown, I'm not sure, he barely gets out of the end zone. That's going to be 1st and 10 from the half-yard line.
Well, they get that 10 yards on the personal foul. That's the saving grace.
It doesn't look like they're remembering to apply that, though. Yep, now they'll walk it off. So there's your saving grace. So it could have been outstanding position for the Spokane Shock defense, but the retribution play, as you mentioned, Seth, after Antosh Hawthorne went to the legs of Patrick Afif and was called for a personal foul, leads it to be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line for Nick Davila and the Arizona Rattlers. He's back to throw. A little bit of pressure that time. Tries to find a man. That's a receiver. Chase Detter. Incomplete. And there's one of those new receivers unable to connect with Davila here so far.
Yeah, you know, the timing was just off a little bit. He led him a little further than he probably needed to. But, you know, hey, I'm sure the coach is standing over there saying, you get your hands on the ball, you got to catch those.
So first opportunity to make a play for Chase Deatter, one of the new additions for the Arizona Rattlers. 2nd down and 10 from their own 11-yard line. Deatter is the high motion man. He makes that catch this time. Stumbles his way across the 20-yard line and might have enough for a 1st down. He might be just short, but it's close because of a good second effort.
Great catch, great second effort to get within a half a yard of the 1st down.
And right there, it looks like Sam Pope tries to go low, didn't wrap up, and because of it, it's a 3rd and very short for the Arizona Rattlers with 5:45 left here in the 1st quarter.
Do we feed our new fullback?
There you go. Feed him. The bowling ball. Markel Benson. They do hand it to him right on cue, and he gets enough for a 1st down, more than enough, out to just about midfield, the 24-yard line of the Rattlers. And these two teams are going at each other. There's a lot of extracurricular stuff after every play. You got to love it.
Hey, listen, when you spend time in training camp, there's nothing like playing your first game. You get tired of beating up on your teammates, fighting day in and day out. When you get an opportunity to play against somebody with a different color uniform, now you can take that aggression out.
Yeah, you're chomping at the bit. And we mentioned 14 times these two teams have played each other since 2010, so they know each other pretty well. Davila, he's going to tuck it and run it. You don't see him do that very often. Gets to across midfield to the Spokane 24-yard line. Makes a little something out of nothing there.
You know, that was great coverage up top by the Shock secondary. They had a little post corner route on, and the two DBs kind of switched the routes off. I know he thought he had that guy breaking to the middle of the field, but he had to pull it down and run it. It was great read on his part there.
And I think that's good defensive awareness from the Shock. That post corner route, that just gets you in Arena League every time. It's only 8-man football. That post corner route could throw you off. You have to be fundamentally sound, and they had it well recovered right there. Trips to the left of Davila. He's going to quick throw to the big guy, Benson, out of the backfield, crosses the 15, the 10, and gets pushed into the wall, but more than enough for a 1st down. And Michael Benson, the fullback, making his presence known here early.
Well, I tell you what, he may be a big guy, but he's fleet of foot, and I'm telling you right now, he's going to play a major role in this football team's success this year, because in short yardage situations, goal line situations, he's huge, and to be able to have good hands coming out of the backfield, my goodness, what linebacker is going to be able to stay with him as much as you throw the ball?
No question. Gain of 20. They're going to flip this one out to Jared Perry. And a little sweep route. He gets drilled into the boards with short gain right there for Perry. It'll be second down. They credit him 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7 with about 3.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. 13-7. Shock on top of the Rattlers. Shock have gotten into the end zone twice. The last time, though, they missed that extra point. It was blocked. And now the Rattlers trying to answer and maybe take their first lead of the game. Perry in high motion. Trips to the left. Davila to throw. A quick hitch to the outside to Deatter to about the 5-yard line. And it might be enough for a first down. Nope, it's going to be just short. 3rd down and 1 on a 6-yard gain.
Just a great timing route. When you're pushing, guys got a wide receiver one-on-one. You got to protect the go route. To be able to stop and sit down and throw that ball on time, on target. Great job by Davila.
Rattlers trying to get back on the board. 3rd and 1 from the Shock 5-yard line. Again, they're going to do trips on the right side. Davila has pressure this time. Back of the end zone. Almost caught. Incomplete. And going into the Spokane bench is Marquis White. He almost made a play in that back corner. But now it's 4th and 1.
Well, you know, that's basically a throwaway play. I mean, you need a half an inch. You try to get the defense thinking you're going to run it because you run it in short yardage situations the last 2 times, so you take a shot. Now you come back and give it to your big fullback, pick up your first down, and keep the chains moving.
Devin Dace put a hand on that ball in the corner of the end zone for Spokane. So it's going to be 4th and 1. And it looks like Rattlers lineman might have moved a little bit early.
False start. 73. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So a false start on the tight end, Joe Gibbs, and that's going to move him back 5 yards. So now you're out of Michael Benson pounded up the middle territory, and you're going to have to complete a pass.
Well, that changes the dynamics of your play call, and that's for sure. You know, the throwaway play now really turns into a throwaway play. So now in this situation, they more than likely have got to get the ball down the field. You got to move the chains and go for the touchdown here.
4th down and 6 from the Rattlers the Shock 9-yard line. There's 1:12 left on the clock here in the first quarter. It's going to be trips with the high motion man being Jared Perry. Snaps it. Quiet here. Need to make a play. Davila under pressure. Gets away from it. Lobs it up. Back of the end zone. Touchdown Rattlers. There is a flag on the play, but Jared Perry is there on the improv route for the Rattlers score. We'll see what the flag is. And how about Nick Davila getting out of the pocket and making a play?
Well, that was a great play by him just to avoid the pressure and elongate the play.
Number 3, defense. That penalty is declined. Both the play.
So it's a holding call on Dodd Masters and a touchdown from the Latin laser to Jared Perry. Their first connection in the end zone for the first time today. First touchdown pass of the season for Nick Davila. And now Jeremy Shelley in on the extra point to try to give the Rattlers their first lead of the game with under a minute left in this first quarter. B.J. Coleman the holds. Kick is good for Shelley. So with 32 seconds left in the first quarter, the Rattlers take their first lead of the 2015 season, 14-13 over the Shock. But the Shock will get it back to close out the first quarter. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Ninth man, when the Rattlers win, you win at Papa John's. Just log on to papajohns.com tomorrow. Use the promo code Rattlers and score 50% off your order. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, ninth man, it's time to rise for your Rattlers.
You heard him. Everybody up on your feet. Seats are overrated. Let's make some noise for your Arizona Rattlers.
The Rattlers take the lead, 14-13 over the Spokane Shock after a touchdown pass from Nick Davila, the Latin Laser and former MVP, reigning MVP of the Arena League, to Jared Perry.
Smart play by Jared, also realizing that side of the field was pretty much limited to break his route off and break away from where the quarterback was.
The kick is away, off the board. That's exactly what Coach Guy wants. That's a live ball. It's picked up and scores. That's a touchdown for the Arizona Rattlers. Recovering that ball is Marquis White. And what a change in momentum right there.
You know, special teams can be just as big. We talked about this earlier as far as the kicker is concerned, trying to get it off that metal bar and create opportunities to either get them pinned down, get the offense pinned down, or get a turnover like that. Huge play, huge play.
And in a game that looked like whoever was going to be on the offensive side of the ball last could win this game, a big turn in events as Jeremy Shelley now in the matter of moments, just seconds really, an extra point to give the Rattlers a 21-13 lead as we close out the first quarter of play. What a change of events. Jeremy Shelley kicking in his first game in the Arena League, gets it off the crossbar, forces a turnover, and the Rattlers are on top. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football, the second quarter, coming up next.
Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders. The Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders, presented by Tan United and Par Excellence Salon.
So back here for the start of the second quarter, the Arizona Rattlers, what a way to close out the first. They get their first receiving touchdown of the game from Jared Perry, and then on the ensuing kickoff, Jeremy Shelley off the upright, recovered by Marquis White, and 2 touchdowns in the matter of seconds has the Rattlers up by a score.
Pretty efficient half, especially from the quarterback, Nick Davila, 6 of 8 for 78 yards and a touchdown. Special teams creates a turnover for a touchdown. I think things are going according to plan as far as Coach Guy would think for the first quarter, the first game of the season.
And he harps on special teams as much as any coach. I mean, that's what a player's worst nightmare and a coach's dream is to really harping on the special teams over and over again, and for to have that come to fruition for Coach Guy, he's going to be very thrilled about that. Another misplayed kick to start the second quarter, and it ends up going out of bounds as that ball was received by Rashard Dodd-Masters, but it goes out of bounds, so it'll be a touchback for Spokane.
You know, I'm starting to think maybe there's some wind blowing towards this end zone over here. I mean, he hasn't even been able to get it to the net. The 2 kickoffs he's had in this direction, that one hit, the one for the turnover, hit high off the bar.
High off the uprights, yeah, that one was a lot shorter. It's almost like a golf game a little bit with the kickers, you know, you pull out a different size iron or a wedge to try to change it up a little bit. He pulled out the driver on the kick that ended up being a turnover. So 1st and 10 for Spokane. Kaufman, a hitch and go, has a man downfield, and it's incomplete, in and out of the hands of Samuel Charles. He had Marquise Floyd beat down the sidelines but couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, he had him toasted, but I tell you what, one of the great things that you see Floyd do is he just turns and tucks tail and he just starts running. You know, if he doesn't get there, that bobble could turn into a catch. He gets there and at the last second, gets his hand in there and knocks that ball out. Great play.
Carson Kaufman maybe a little bit underthrown too. Didn't hit him in stride, but either way, that's a tough break for Spokane. Now 2nd and 10, just underway here in the second quarter. Kaufman back to throw over the middle. It's broken up, intended for Washington. And Jeremy Kellum, who's been on the wrong end of a couple pass plays, makes a nice play right there.
Good hustle. The ball was thrown a little bit behind, but hey, you know, Kellum still got there and got a piece of it and knocked it down. It's a great play. Now, they just got a hold here. It's 3rd down. I believe 3rd down and 10. They've got to, you know, make a stand here.
Yep, 3rd down and 10 from their own 5-yard line. Spokane was forced into a 4th down situation early, but then they scored on it. Kaufman completes it this time to Washington, just shy of the 15-yard line, which is where the 1st down marker is. So it will be 4th and 1 for Spokane upcoming. Mike Washington off to a great start in this game.
It's just a tough play for Kellum to have to make, especially in a situation like that. You've got to guard the short to intermediate routes, and if he stutters at all and takes off, you're standing flat-footed. It's almost impossible for you to recover and cover that.
4 catches for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns for Mike Washington so far in this game. A big one right there sets up a 4th and 1 for Spokane. Kaufman back to throw. Washington open downfield, and it's caught. And deja vu all over again on a 4th and 1. Mike Washington with a deep ball touchdown.
Well, you know, they changed up their defensive strategy there a little bit. They moved Kellum up on the line to try to get a bump right here. And, you know, it's just tough. That guy's moving. You're standing flat-footed. He gave him a little juke outside like he was going to go outside and took it up the middle. Good pass, good play. You know, what are you going to do?
And a good answer for Spokane after giving up 2 consecutive touchdowns. Extra point upcoming here for Taylor Rowan. Snap is good. The kick is good. After the last one was blocked, this one is up and through. So with 11:52 left here in the first half, it's back to a 1-point game. Rattlers on top of the shot, 21-20. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
All right, Ninth Man. It's free T-shirt time for the best fans in arena football. Compliments of Ak-Chin Southern Dunes Golf Club. You know how to get one. Make some noise.
(21-20), the Rattlers on top of the Shock. 11:52 left here in this first half. And the Shock, despite a lapse on special teams, have really looked sharp on offense.
Well, you know, Kaufman and Washington really got something cooking right now. You know, Kaufman's got 3 touchdowns, all to Washington. Washington's got 5 receptions for 96 yards. Like I said, 3 of them for touchdowns. So the Rattlers are going to have to make some adjustments here and try to figure out how to handle Washington in this slot position. Kellum is just having a heck of a time with him. So be interesting to see what the coaches are able to come up with to be able to make an adjustment here.
Nice kick by Rowan off the crossbar on the kickoff. Perry was able to haul it in and return it to about the 3-yard line where the Rattlers will take over 1st and 10. Nick Davila so far in this game, 6 of 8. 78 yards and a touchdown. The reigning MVP has been sharp so far, and just as expected, this Rattlers offense has been sharp because of it.
Well, he's the linchpin. You know, I think we all agree that there was some concern about the wide receivers, about the wide receiving core, but, you got stability at quarterback. You can bring those guys along.
High motion man is White. Davila looks at him across the middle of the field to about the 20-yard line, so a nice gain on first down. Marquis White, who made the play on special teams to recover that kick for a score, makes the catch right there. Second catch of the game for Marquis. And that's a First Credit Union first down for the Rattlers.
I'll tell you one thing that Davila does. He gets that ball out of his hands.
He is quick.
Very good timing on his routes. Receivers are running crisp routes.
Just on the same page, the Rattlers receivers and Davila so far in this game. He'll throw off the sideline this time. It's complete. And a clothesline at the end of that play by Dodd Masters on White, but he just shrugs it off. First down again for the Rattlers, now into shock territory.
I'm watching the shock. They're doing some really interesting things as far as their coverages are concerned. When they're playing guys off and they're playing like these combination coverages where if a guy breaks out, one guy takes him, the other guy comes off to the other guy. Davila did a great job of just reading the coverage and getting the ball to the guy that was supposed to get it.
Another First Credit Union first down. High motion man is Perry. They hand the ball off to the bowling ball, Michael Benson. And a nice carry right there to the 10-yard line. Man, he has been impressive in this game.
Well, I'm telling you, if you want to eat some clock and you want to eat some yards up for that matter, he seems like the perfect remedy for them.
It is not easy to declare a run game in the Arena League, but they've really done that so far.
Well, absolutely. We all know it's a passing league, but at the same time, when you have a weapon like that, you can really mess things up for a lot of defenses by being able to run the ball as well as throw it.
Yeah, Michael Benson has done that so far, and he's caught the ball out of the backfield too. High motion man Marquis White. It looks like he was held as he was going downfield, but it doesn't matter. A touchdown anyway. Davila connects with Chase DeAdder. There's a flag on the play, but I think it might have been holding in the defensive backfield on Spokane. We'll go down to the officials to see what the verdict is.
Well, we talked about getting pressure.
Number 1, defense.
And there it is.
Penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
We talked about the shock potentially being able to get pressure on Davila. That's just not the case. He had all day to sit in there and complete that football. He did a great job of just sitting in the pocket, waiting for the route to develop and hitting the open guy.
Chase DeAdder, his third catch of the game. He had a drop the first target he had. Since then, 3 catches, 25 yards, and now a score. And now Jeremy Shelley, the extra point. In and through to make it now 28-20. The Rattlers on top of the shock here with 8:58 remaining here in the first half. We'll take a break. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
All right, ninth man, it's contest time in the stands. It's time for the Rattlers question of the night. And let's meet tonight's contestant, Kevin. All right, Kevin, we asked Rattlers defensive lineman Cliff Dukes what his favorite off-season moment was. Is it A, a family fishing trip, B, getting married, or C, buying a new SUV? Think it over for a second, Kevin. All right, Kevin, what's your answer?
B, getting married.
All right, Kevin says B, getting married. Let's see, head to Rat TV and see if you're a winner.
Hey, ninth man, the best part of my off season was it a fishing trip? Nah, it was marrying the love of my life, Justine Busey, who's now Justine Dukes. Love you, baby.
Congratulations, Kevin, and yeah, he better have said that. Kevin, you just won this great Rattlers prize bag, and thank you for playing tonight's Rattlers question of the game.
The Arizona Rattlers strike again on offense. This time a touchdown from the Latin laser, Nick Davila, to Chase DeAdder, his first touchdown of the game. And it's 28-20 shock with 8:58 left here in the first half. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center. And the Rattlers will go back on defense, hoping to get another stop so they can break this thing open, but the Shock have been sharp offensively. The kick is away. This time it's caught by Richard Dud Masters, and he gets it out of the end zone and has some space right now. There's a flag that comes in as Dud Master crosses the 15-yard line. There might have been a block in the back, but we'll go down to the field to see what it is.
During the return, holding, number 44, return team. Half the distance to the goal. Spokane keeps the ball, first down.
So penalties are kind of hurting Spokane so far in this game.
Well, absolutely. That's definitely to Arizona's benefit. Just not smart plays where you don't have to do that.
So a holding play after a pretty good return from Dud Masters sends them back to their own 5-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for Chase Kaufman, the former Kansas State Wildcat quarterback standout. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. He's going to air it out, and it's caught. Seeing it in the very final moments. That ball was ripped away at the very end by Jeremy Kellum, and there's no official whistle blown. He cuts it back upfield, and that's a touchdown. Jeremy Kellum takes it away from Rashad Carter. No whistle. And Kellum takes it all the way back for a Rattlers score. Let's look back at the replay. Carter was never on the ground, and he didn't hit the boards when the ball came out. Kellum had it. He was never forced out against the boards. That's when you're considered out. Cuts it back upfield and scores a touchdown.
I'll tell you what, that's a heck of a play.
The ruling on the field of an interception returned for a touchdown. The play is under further review.
Yeah, and it's smart. They're definitely going to challenge that. We'll see what it is. But what did you see, Seth?
Well, it was a strip. It wasn't an interception. He actually caught the ball. He stripped him. After he caught the ball was clearly out before he was down. The only question I had was maybe he was touched down before he got up and ran it back. Anyway it turns out, it looks to me like it's Arizona's ball.
Now, after Kellum had the ball, one thing that you have to make note of, was he forced out? The only way these boards come into play of being out of bounds is if a Spokane player hits him out. If he just touches the board on his own, he's not out of bounds. It did look like he touched the board. The question is, if it is Rattlers football, was it that he was touched out of bounds by a Spokane player?
I don't think it's so much that he was touched out of bounds, but the ball is out before he even hits the ground because he lands on Kellum.
And he was not down. There is no question about that. We look at it in a slower capacity.
See, now the question is to me here, when he takes the ball away and he gets up, it looks like the receiver has actually got his hand on him. So is he down by contact?
And also
right there where he gets up, right there. His hand on his head.
His hand is on him, so he is down.
He's down by contact, but it will be Arizona's ball.
Now, if you see when he's going into the boards here, his helmet hits the board. You can't tell from that angle if the ball is out.
The ball is already out.
It definitely looks like it's out from that angle.
Because he's raking at the ball right there. So it looks to me like the ball's on his way. See, he snatches the ball before he even makes contact with the wall or the ground.
So Kellum is definitely out. I don't think this is going to be a turnover return for touchdown. We'll go down to the officials. Referee Scott Campbell.
After review, the Spokane receiver had possession of the football. However, he never touched the side barrier when the Arizona player got the ball. When the Arizona receiver or the Arizona defensive back caught the football, he was down by contact at the 22-yard line. It's going to be first down, Arizona. Spokane is charged with a timeout.
So, Seth, you were all over that one. He was definitely down by contact, so it'll be 1st and 10 Rattlers from the 22-yard line. They don't get the defensive score, but a big turnover and a chance to go up 2 scores here with just under 8 minutes left in the first half.
Hey, it's their third turnover, and they've converted the other 2 turnovers into points. They got to turn this over here, give them an opportunity to really get themselves some breathing room before they go in the half.
Yeah, and they get the ball to start the second half after kicking it away to start. So this could be just not a back-breaking possession, a back-breaking turnover for Spokane. When you look at a Rattlers offense that is as efficient as it comes, they score just about every time they have it.
Take your shot right here.
Davila back to throw. Looking to the sidelines for Marquis White. He had a hand on it, but it looked like it was knocked away by Dodd Masters, incomplete. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the Shock 22-yard line. That's just the 3rd incompletion of the game for Davila.
Yeah, he's on quite a roll today. You know, I believe he's 9 of 12, but he's spreading the ball around. He's throwing the ball to 4 different receivers today.
He's back to throw. Some pressure. Was trying to set up a screen. Very well defended, though, by Spokane, and it's incomplete. Even with the pressure from the defensive line, Michael Benson, who was there for the screen, was also well covered. So that play was broken.
He was well covered. I mean, the screen play requires great timing. It seemed like, you know, the offensive line didn't really get their hands on the defensive lineman. You know, you can't just let them go. You got to block them and make it seem like you're trying to hold them up a little bit before you get into the screen. But they just got to the quarterback way too fast. Plus, the fullback was covered.
He was, no question. 3rd down, Davila over the middle, caught at the 5-yard line by Jared Perry. Called down by contact at the 6, but a 1st down for the Rattlers. So a nice route over the middle and a sliding catch for Perry.
That it is. I believe it's a personal.
Half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
So roughing the passer on Nick Davila after he let go of that ball, half the distance to the goal once again. And wow, he definitely went at him hard at the end of that play. That's 67. Terrence Taylor, the nose guard, knocked Davila's helmet off, and he gets right into his ear. Davila loved it.
I tell you what, Davila is one tough cookie. I mean, he tried to plant him there, no doubt about it.
So 1st and goal, it's Benson once again. He walks in this time for the Rattlers score with 5:50 left here in the 1st half. Man, has he had quite the 1st half. The new fullback, Michael Benson, making some big-time plays. The new guy. And it's 34-20, Rattlers on top.
I tell you, he's got some pretty fleet foot there for a guy 270 pounds.
Out of Florida A&M. Big fullback. The fullback may be a dying breed in the outdoor game, but it's alive and well in arena football, and Michael Benson has taken advantage. Jeremy Shelley, the extra point is blocked. So now 2 teams each now with block extra points. It was Terrence Taylor who blocked that one, but with 5:14 left here in the 1st half, the Rattlers still with a 2-possession lead, 34-20. We'll take a break. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Onto your feet. It's time for the Buffalo Wild Wings Chicken Dance Cam. Don't be a chicken. Do the chicken dance and you could win a great prize back from Buffalo Wild Wings. Congratulations, there's our winner. You just won a great prize back from Buffalo Wild Wings.
So Seth Joyner's wondering where his free wings are after the Buffalo Wild Wings chicken dance happens. I bet you got a mean chicken dance in your back pocket.
You know, if I'd have known that they was giving away free chicken, I would have got up and danced.
You would have said, forget this broadcast, let me go be a fan and get some free chicken. Rattlers on top of the Shock, 34-20, 5:14 left in the 1st half. That's Seth Joyner. I'm Jared Cohen. Rattlers getting set to kick things away here with a 2-score lead, and if they keep it like this, they get the ball to start the second half. They're in great position in this game. Great kick from Shelley, played off the net from Dodd Masters. Has some space though this time. He's got some room. Driven out of bounds by Jeremy Shelley, the kicker, getting involved with the tackle right there, but a great return right there from Richard Dodd Masters out just short of midfield.
Looks like somebody got out of their lane there on the return. He had a hole so big you could have drove a Mack truck through there. It's like, wow.
You could have had Michael Benson run through that hole in plenty of space. He's done that pretty well today. But so the Shock will take over 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line, down by 2 touchdowns. They got to make things happen in a hurry. Got to take care of business on offense before getting some stops on defense. Trips to the left of Kaufman. Pass broken up and almost intercepted off the deflection by Antosh Hawthorne. But Marcus Pittman, the one that made that play initially.
I tell you, the Rattlers D-line, they're going to have to start doing this, because if you're not getting pressure, the next best thing you can do is start getting your hands up. I like what they made some adjustments against that trip set over here. They're playing like an umbrella type coverage.
Kaufman back to throw, has some time, tries to do a kind of a screen out to the tight end Jackson. Well covered by Gilmore and Wells, incomplete. And those are 2 plays in a row where the Rattlers off defensive line really making a statement.
Well, 1st and 2nd down hasn't been their problem. 3rd down hasn't been their problem. They've given up 2 touchdowns on 4th down and like 1 yard.
Yep. Got to play for 4 downs in arena ball, not 3. 3rd down and 10 right now. Rattlers want to make it 3rd and long. And there's a flag, and it looks like it's going to be encroachment. I don't know if a Shock player moved first, but we'll go down to the referees and see. Referee Scott Campbell.
Offsides, number 77. Defense with contact. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So that's Antosh Hawthorne. Made contact with the center before the ball was snapped. So it's still 3rd and 5 for Spokane, but a much more manageable 3rd down here.
It's a tough penalty. You don't want to give any yards away. You got them backed up. You want to keep them backed up.
So it'll be 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Kaufman. Back to throw. Quick throw over the middle, and it's complete. Across the 15-yard line, more than enough for a 1st down to Rashad Carter.
Tackled by number 20, Jeremy Kellum.
Jeremy Kellum in on the stop, moving the chains to Spokane. 3rd catch of the game for Carter.
Well, I guarantee you, if I could go back and look at film right now, I promise you, almost 95% of the catches that the Shock have is coming out of that slot guy, that move guy.
They've taken full advantage of it. Right now, that guy, once again, is Carter, alone on the left side. They're going to throw to him over the middle. It's complete and caught right on cue, Seth. Makes the catch at the 2-yard line. Is Carter. Arkeith Brown gets the stop, and it's a 1st and goal for the Shock.
It's a tough cover. I've stated it a few times, but I'll say it again. Anytime a guy's running full speed at you and you're flat-footed, it's hard to get to full speed when that guy makes a decision where he's going. And the other thing is you're trying to determine which way he's going.
Got to make solid contact right when they meet after the ball is snapped. They'll hand the ball off, and nice defense on the interior defensive line. Cliff Dukes, the Spartan, makes the big play, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, they kind of telegraphed that play, but at the same time, that's just a great job of being stout at the line of scrimmage with your linemen and your linebackers playing the run, not giving an inch.
Big Cliff Dukes, one of the staples of this Rattlers defense. 2nd team All-Arena League last season for the Rattlers. Kaufman's got trips to the right. They're going to hand the ball off again. This time some lead blockers and a touchdown. This time around, Bryson Kelly takes it in from about 4 yards out, and it's 34-27 Rattlers with just over a minute left in the half.
Sometimes you just have to chalk things up to great play calling. That was just a great play call there. Seemed like they had the defense overshifted, one way, and they tossed it back the other.
And now Rowan will come in for the extra point. He has had 1 blocked in this game. The snap is good and the kick is good. 52 seconds remain here in the first half. The Shock cut it back to a 7-point, 34-27 deficit.
Three timeouts. Spokane has 2 timeouts. Media timeout.
We'll take a timeout. 34-27, 52 seconds left. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
It's time to give one lucky row a chance to go to the Mercedes-Benz Scottsdale Rugby Bowl Saturday, April 18th at Scottsdale Stadium. And you're a winner if you are seated in section 124, row 17. Congratulations and enjoy your tickets to the Rugby Bowl on Saturday, April 18th at Scottsdale Stadium.
52 seconds left. Rattlers on top 34-27. They've got an efficient offense. They're going to try to get it back up to 2 scores, Seth, before halftime because they get the ball to start that second half.
Well, no doubt about it. Their first possession went 3 plays and right into the end zone. I believe 52.3 seconds is more than enough time for him to get in the end zone one more time before the half is up.
Yeah, Nick Davila, you know he's going to be the quick strike Latin laser that we've seen over the last several years, the reigning MVP. And boy, would it be big, a chance to go up 3 scores to start the second half. But they got to take care of business here first with 52 seconds left. Keith Brown back to, no, that's Jared Perry this time. They've moved Perry back to return kicks. Rowan will have an onside kick, recovered by White. And they'll have it first and goal from their own 10-yard line. And I think that the thought process here, Seth, is shorter field, shorter room to work with for Davila to try to score instead of having a lot of space in the open field. Kind of a chess match a little bit right there.
Well, you know, one of their best weapons, Mr. Benson, is asking to come out right now. Looks like he's a little shaken up. I would say, you know, in the position that they're in with 3 timeouts and 50 seconds left, if there was a way, if he wasn't hurt, I mean, I just feed him. You eat the time up, and he's good enough to, you know, give you a touchdown in 3 downs and 50-something seconds left.
So we'll see who steps in at the fullback position. One thing that this could allow is basically saying, here, go ahead and score, Rattlers. Shock, we want the ball back before halftime to try to get back within 1 possession. So we'll see what the Rattlers do. Davila, quick throw, pass is broken up. It was intended for Marquis White. A couple Spokane players got a hand on it, and there's one of those Spokane players is down after crashing into the boards. There's 46.9 seconds left here in the first half. Rattlers up by 7. And Michael Benson is back into the game.
Yes,
at fullback.
The big Mercedes-Benz truck is back in the game.
And you're calling his number. You want to give him the rock.
Absolutely. I mean, you got plenty of time and 3 timeouts.
2 to the left, 1 to the right. Now it's going to be trips. Davila keeps it in his hands, airs it out. Jared Perry dives for it, but can't make the play. He was alone in the corner of the end zone. Davila just led him a little bit too much. 44 seconds left now. So we'll see you on 3rd down. You feeding him?
I think they've, you know, if you're going to run it on 1st down, run it on 2nd down, you pretty much committed yourself to throwing the ball on 3rd and 4th down.
It's 3rd and 10 from the Shock 10. Deatter will be the high motion man with White on the left and Perry on the right. Davila to throw, airs it out, looking up top to Deatter, and it's broken up once again. Good defense by Devon Dace, and this is an example right here, Seth, of less field to work with, creates more opportunity to break up passes, and that works in Spokane's favor right there. 40 seconds left, and it looks like they're going to kick a field goal.
Well, absolutely, and what they've done, they've thrown the ball 3 times in a row, and they put themselves in a situation where they're going to have to kick off and give the Shock another possession before the half is over after only getting 3 points here.
The last minute of a half in an Arena League game is about as long as the entire game. It's pretty crazy how that works. Shelley's first field goal attempt is up, and it's good.
Well, you see, that's why I love the concept of being able to run the ball I like the concept of being able to run the ball in that situation because you get an opportunity to eat up some field, but you also get an opportunity to eat up some clock so that the other team doesn't get the ball back.
And they haven't shown any evidence of being able to stop Michael Benson at all in this game either. So the situation is this. The Rattlers are up on top by 10, 37-27 with 36 seconds left. The Shock still have 2 timeouts to work with. And they'll try to get up and down the field in a hurry because they do not have the ball to start the second half. They'll try to get it back within 3, and that creates a situation where a stop can lead to you taking the lead. But they got to get in the end zone before halftime. Taking a look at some of the stats, Davila, who started 9 of 11, is now 10 of 17. So he's completed just one of his last 6 passes, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they weren't able to convert that time around.
Well, I tell you, the Shock secondary has played awful well today. I mean, we've caught some balls, but at the same time, they've been right there to make the tackles.
Dodd Masters, another good return out to the 18-yard line. Shelley had that one high off the net. So I think the wind has shifted a little bit, Seth. So it'll be 1st and 10 Shock, 32 seconds left from their own 18. And Chase Kaufman is 9 of 16 for 142 yards and 3 touchdowns, and 2 of those touchdowns have been on 4th down conversions to Mike Washington.
This is an important series. Even though we get the ball at the beginning of the second half, this is an important series. Big momentum if they can figure out a way to get them stopped here, or turn this ball over and turn it into points.
Okay, make it a 3-possession game if possible. They're going to air it out deep. That's Washington, and Kellum undercuts the route and almost picks it off. Washington had the step, ball a little bit underthrown. Kellum makes a great adjustment and almost makes a huge play.
He did make a great play. The ball was underthrown a little bit, but hey, he was right there stride for stride. About as good as you can ask him to play it.
And that ball was definitely a tad bit underthrown. 26.9 seconds left. It's 2nd down and 10. Shock trips to the left of Kaufman. Mishandled the snap initially, over the middle, and it's complete across the 1st down marker. Charles is the one that makes the catch. That's his first catch of the game. Clock stops in the final minute to move the chains. So it'll be 1st and 10 Shock, 21 seconds left, down 10. And Samuel Charles, 11-yard gain, his first catch of the game. It's going to be trips to the left side of Kaufman with Washington in high motion. Pressure, Kaufman gets rid of it, and good defense, no flag. The Shock players wanted an interference, but Kellum with good coverage, and there's 16 seconds left.
That was just great coverage. The situation dictates that they throw the ball downfield instead of sitting down, even though they still have, I believe, two timeouts left. But Kellum is doing a much better job of covering those vertical routes when they set them down and they get him to start biting on those short routes. Now it becomes that much more difficult for him to cover the deep routes.
And it looks like Antaj Hawthorne might have moved a little bit quickly. We've seen him do that once already in this game. Scott Campbell, the referee, down on the field.
Offsides, number 77. Defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So that's the second offsides penalty on Antaj Hawthorne. It moves the Shock up 5 yards, not the end of the world. Still 2nd down, now 5, but with the amount of time left, they're going to have to go end zone no matter what here soon anyway. It's going to be Rod Harper in high motion with trips to the left. Kaufman, an out route, complete to Charles, driven out of bounds across the 15-yard line with 11 seconds left.
They seem to be all over that route to the flat.
And there was 3 defenders all over it. They knew it was coming.
Well, they were driving. They must have seen something, I don't know, film study or something, tape from last year, to let them know in this situation this is a route that they like to run, because they seem like they ran the route for the wide receiver in that situation.
Spokane's going to take their second timeout. They have one remaining with 11.2 seconds left, but they want to talk this one over. They're trying to get that ball in the end zone. 37-27 is the score. Seth, you look at this situation, you already mentioned how big of a play or a drive in this game it is. And if you're the Rattlers, the way things have been going, haven't turned the ball over, you scored on every possession. This is an opportunity to really make a big statement going into the halftime locker room.
Well, you want to maintain momentum. I mean, they have the momentum right now, and if they can get a stop here, I mean, even a 3 points here is great for the momentum. They just don't want to give up 7 here.
They're down by 10. The Shock are. They got Washington in high motion. He's been the big playmaker in this half. There's a flag on the play. Kaufman throws it hard. Nice play by Jeremy Kellum. Incomplete, but we'll see what the flag is. And how do you like that? Don't have a camera on it, but 2 of the linemen were getting into it with 2 of the Spokane linemen, and Coach Guy is the one that breaks it up to avoid a flag. The unique thing about arena ball, great play by Jeremy Kellum to prevent a Mike Washington touchdown. That would have been his 4th of the game.
28, defense, 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
He's had his share of troubles on that back end, but he's made some plays here going into the end of this half.
JT Gilmore called with the offsides. Makes it an automatic first down for Spokane, but they're not playing against downs at this point. They're playing against the clock. 6.3 seconds left.
You know, the Rattlers are really hurting themselves with these penalties. You know, 2 penalties in the last 3-4 downs, and now they're knocking on the door here.
Kaufman back to throw to the sideline, and it is, did he catch it? No, it went out of bounds, intended for Rod Harper. And there's enough for one more play, 1.6 seconds left. Thought I was about to hear the horn blow. It felt like a really long 11 seconds. They got enough for one more play. And the Rattlers with an opportunity to get a huge stop here before halftime. Shaka, Seth mentions, are knocking on the door. And they're going to call their last timeout, and that's smart. They want to get this play right.
Seemed like there was a little bit of confusion with their offense. Someone didn't know where to line up. They had to burn their last timeout here.
And it looks like the Rattlers secondary's made some adjustments on guarding the slot. Yeah, that's been an issue with them, but they've made some nice plays in the secondary here in the second quarter compared to a tough start.
Well, I think it's a combination of situation and some coaching changes that they've made. When they get in a trips formation, what they've done is they've kind of umbrellaed the whole thing and let it play out. One guy's got the outside guy, one guy will take the inside guy, and one guy will sit down on the guy on the inside. In the situation as it is right now, they've been going deep, so that's helped Kellum more than it's hurt him.
8 yards to go. Kaufman back to throw. The last play of the half, and he's sacked. Big time play, Tyree Glasper, the Mike linebacker, sacks Kaufman on the final play of the first half, and that'll do it.
Huge play. Right here, I mean, this is a coverage sack. If you could go back and see what they did in the secondary, the way they buzzed the Jack linebacker out to the flat on that guy running the flat route, and they doubled the wide receiver running the corner route. You had one guy on the post and one on the corner. I mean, just a phenomenal coverage and a phenomenal sack by the defensive lineman there to just shut this, to close out this half.
The situation is this: Rattlers 37, Shock 27 at the half, and the Rattlers will receive to start the second half. We'll take a short break, take a look at the halftime entertainment, and then we'll look at the first half stats before the third quarter gets started. That's Seth Joyner, former NFL linebacker. My name is Jared Cohen from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center in downtown Phoenix. Again at halftime, Rattlers on top of the Shock, 37-27.
Ultrastar Multitainment Center, where kids are the stars. While we are all created equal, teams are not. Teams venture into uncharted waters, challenge the laws of physics, and pull off the impossible together. Instead of running their mouths, teams roll up their sleeves and run out on the field together. I play for team.
Ninth man for your halftime entertainment. Please welcome to the field participants from the Mercedes-Benz Scottsdale Rugby Bowl. some of the participants you'll see at the Mercedes-Benz Scottsdale Rugby Bowl, Saturday, April 18th at Scottsdale Stadium. Rattlers fans, be sure to check out the Mercedes-Benz of Scottsdale Rugby Bowl taking place Saturday, April 18th at Scottsdale Stadium. Get your free admission, general admission ticket by entering the code word Rattlers at checkout. For more info, go to www.therugbybowl.com.
Make us one. Let's make a beautiful world.
For document solutions for your business, trust the leader, All Copy Products. Our managed print services solution provides a worry-free printing environment, making your business more efficient and saving you money. Learn more now at allcopyproducts.com.
Whether it's a dental emergency or a routine checkup, go where the Rattlers go. Visit Valley Dental and Dr. Scott Connell for all of your dental needs. And be sure to bring your Rattlers ticket in for a free exam and x-ray. Valley Dental, the official dentist of your Arizona Rattlers.
Rattlers fans, be sure to
Back here at Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center, it's halftime and the Rattlers on top of the Spokane Shock, 37-27. It's Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here on the streaming live. And Seth, before we take a look at the stats, well, let's take a look at the stats. What are some things that jump off the page to you before we kind of go through a detailed list of how that first half transpired?
Well, looking at Dodd Masters, they've got to figure out a way to get him under control. I mean, he's got 5 attempts for 108 yards with a long of 30 yards. That tells me that he's
on kick returns.
That tells me that he's creating good field position for the Shock. When I look at the overall, what I see also is the turnover game, which is huge. Arizona's been able to create 2 turnovers off fumbles. Each one turned into 14 points for them. That's huge. They got to continue to do that. And then third down conversions, obviously. As a defensive player, we were always taught that, we want to keep our opponents, under 30% conversion rate. The Rattlers are doing that, while at the same time they're converting at 50%, which is good for them to be able to keep their drives alive as well.
Taking a look at the quarterbacks on both sides of the ball. First for Spokane, Carson Kaufman, 11 of 21 for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. Nick Davila for the Rattlers, the reigning MVP, 10 of 17 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. He started the game 9 of his first 11, finished 10 of 17. The running backs, not really a factor for Spokane, but you liked what you saw out of Michael Benson in that first half. 4 carries for 14 yards and 2 scores.
And at the same time, you look at it, he has 4 carries, like you said, for 14 yards and 2 touchdowns. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that's 3.5 yards a carry. I think that he's an underutilized weapon in this football game, and particularly when we had the ball down here on the 10-yard line and we came away empty here, or we kicked the field goal, rather. That was an opportunity for us to run the ball, eat up some clock, eat up some yards, use his versatility. Because like you said, in the arena game, it really is about your ability to get the ball down the field. So if you've got a back that gives you the opportunity to move the chains, to get some yards on the ground, to keep the other team off the field, to minimize their possessions, then I think you need to use that weapon.
Nick Davila did a great job of spreading the ball around. Seth mentioned at the top of the broadcast, no Maurice Purify, no Rod Windsor, no Kerry Reed, no Tyson Poots. Those are your top 4 receivers from last season for the Arena Bowl champion Rattlers, and none of them in the game. Tyson Poots now plays for Vegas. Purify and Windsor both hurt, and Kerry Reed also hurt. Didn't realize he wasn't going to be active in this game until right before kickoff. Instead, though, Davila's got a new crop of wide receivers in Jared Perry, Marquis White, and Chase DeAtter, and he's been able to get them the rock, each of them have 3 catches.
And you got to love the way he's spreading the ball around. Perry, White, and DeAtter, each 3 receptions apiece, and then Benson with the one little flat route that he turned up for 11 yards. So he's spreading the ball around in comparison to what you see over on the other side of the ball. Washington and Carter are getting the majority of the balls over there. But the thing is, they're getting those balls out of the slot or the move man, the motion man position. And Arizona's done a much better job in the second quarter of containing that or controlling it.
The difference in this game is how the first quarter ended up finishing off. As the Rattlers were going toe-to-toe with Spokane, they were trading touchdowns. The Rattlers had just taken their first lead, a 14-13 lead, after they had blocked Spokane's extra point after their second touchdown. But on the ensuing kickoff, a misplayed ball off one of the uprights from a Spokane player, recovered by Marquis White in the end zone for a special teams touchdown. And right now, that's the play that has totally changed this game, and the Rattlers have been in the driver's seat ever since.
Absolutely. And Jared, I don't care how powered your offense is and how many scores you can come up with. At some point in time, the defense has got to step up and make some plays. And that stop at the end of the half was huge for them.
Touchback on the kickoff as we get things started here in the third quarter. Touchback, Rattlers on offense to start the third quarter, and this is what you play for if you defer or don't have the ball first. If you have the lead and you have the ball to start the second half, you can really kind of step on the throats of the opposing team by making this thing double digits this early in the second half.
And I think that's why the head coaches defer that way. That's their thinking, is that, hey, what head coach doesn't believe that they're not going to set the precedent in the first half and go into halftime with the lead? Coming out, you get the ball in the second. At the beginning of the second quarter, if you can put 7 points on the board, it's almost game, set, match.
Davila's back to throw, looks over the middle of the field on the first play of the half. That's Marquis White across the 15 to about the 18-yard line, and the Rattlers are moving the chains with a First Credit Union first down on the first play of the second half.
And you know, the beauty about that route, honestly, they can have that route anytime they want to. Sure. I mean, if they just want to be methodical about going down the field, they can have that route anytime they want to, because that guy, number 2, the same exact way that Kellum has been having problems, he's going to have those same problems with that route.
They'll sweep it out into the flats. That's Chase DeAtter, his 4th catch of the game, but very minimal yardage, about a gain of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. Rattlers, the reigning Arena Bowl champions, 3-time defending Arena Bowl champions, looking to make it 4 in a row for the first time in Arena League history. They got a long way to go before that can happen. This is just the first step. Trips to the left, that's Perry in high motion. They hit him on kind of a flag route out of the slot to the 10-yard line.
You're really seeing Coach Guy dial up some routes here. I mean, he sat White down and ran a corner route behind it, which really put the defense in a quandary right here. Because which one do you cover? I mean, the combination coverages that they're playing back there, it's just completely messing with their minds, because you think one guy's coming one place and he's actually going somewhere else.
And looking at the expression of Pope and Dodd Masters after that play, it's exactly what they're thinking. Quick pass to DeAtter inside the 5-yard line from Davila, and it's going to be 1st and goal for the Rattlers. And Guy wants them on the ball. They want to run a no-huddle. Quickly on the ball are the Rattlers, running a little bit of a no-huddle. Coach Guy is almost on the line of scrimmage. Love watching him do his thing on the sidelines. They hand the ball off to Benson, and he's tripped up. Nice play right there by Fitzgerald. That's really the only time that Benson hasn't gotten whatever he's wanted, and he's frustrated about it.
Well, the formation kind of told the defense where the ball was going. I mean, they were kind of overloaded on that side. But, hey, you know, the other team gets paid to play too.
Yes, they do.
You know, those guys are going to make some plays over there. He's not going to run everybody over. They got some players over there that can play football and can make some plays as well.
Just because he handles the rock doesn't mean they're giving him the old red carpet into the end zone. 3rd and 1 now. It's going to be a little fade out, trying to grab it with one hand is Marquis White, but he can't complete it. And all of a sudden, you're in a position, 4th down and goal. No, excuse me, it's 4th down and 1. They didn't get that first down. They are inside the 5, though.
I really would love to have seen Davila put a little more air on this ball. He's got the mismatch with White. White is Looks like he's about 6'4", 6'5", against a little short 5'11" DB. No need to put a lot of fire on that ball. Just kind of float it up there, let him go up and get it, because he's definitely going to out-jump the defender.
White, believe it or not, is 6'7".
Wow.
You don't see wide receivers in arena ball that are 6'7" that often. 4th and 1, little out route to DeAtter. That's a touchdown for the Rattlers. The Latin Laser strikes again. And that makes it a 16-point lead for Arizona with 10:45 left here in the third quarter.
Great route. DeAtter with a little push off on Dace, and Dace is crying a river to the referee over there about the push off, but not going to get it.
Chase DeAtter's second touchdown of the game, 6 catches for 40 yards and the 2 scores as Jeremy Shelley now into the game for the extra point. Snap is good. Kick is off the mark. It hit the upright. No good. So with 10:17 left here in the third quarter, 43-27, a 16-point advantage for the Rattlers. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Rattlers fans, be sure to check out the Mercedes-Benz of Scottsdale Rugby Bowl taking place Saturday, April 18th at Scottsdale Stadium. Get your free general admission ticket by entering the code word Rattlers at checkout. For more info, go to therugbybowl.com. EOS Fitness Muscle Camp.
10:17 left here in the third quarter. The Rattlers have increased their lead to 16 points, 43-27, with 10:17 left in the third. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center. The Rattlers have gone up 3 scores just like they wanted to out of halftime. And the first missed extra point of the Rattlers' tenure by Jeremy Shelley. This is his first game with the Rattlers, the former Alabama kicker. He's had a pretty good game for the most part, but that one, hopefully you don't hope doesn't come back to haunt him. He's missed 2 extra points now, one of them being blocked and one of them off the upright. Kicks that one to the back of the end zone. Returned with good position by Washington. Sometimes it seems like they're on their feet a little bit too long based on the coverage, but he gets all the way out to the 20-yard line.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you don't get that ball up to the net. I mean, he catches that ball in the end zone. Those guys can't get down there fast enough. He's already on the 5-10-yard line by the time the coverage team can get to the 15. So that's going to lend itself to a return out to the 19-yard line.
So good field position once again for Spokane. Looks like they've gone to a change at quarterback. Now in the game is Jarrett Brown at quarterback. He's back to throw, flushed out of the pocket, loses the football, and it's a turnover recovered by the Rattlers. Tyree Glasper, who had the big sack to close out the first half, recovers the fumble, and the Rattlers are in business.
Big time play. Quarterback's a little careless with the football, and look what I got.
Man, Jarrett Brown, disastrous entrance into this game. His first play from scrimmage under center, loses his footing, drops the football, and now it's 1st and 10 Rattlers in shock territory on their 24-yard line. And the Rattlers can really put this one in the driver's seat with a touchdown here.
Take your shot.
Davila's looking to the middle of the field, has his man, that's Jared Perry, across the 15 to the 10-yard line. He got slammed to the ground pretty hard. He's a little shaken up as he's gets up and he goes to the ground. And Rattlers are already down a few receivers. The way he was slammed to the ground, that has concussion written all over it.
The box. That penalty's declined. Result of the play. First down.
The penalty was the Jack linebacker was out of the box on that play. It's declined, though, says referee Campbell.
Yeah, you know, it looked like to me, Jared, they had one extra defender back there that time.
Did they?
Yeah. He got out of the box and tried and covered the flat. That put the corner in a position where he got over top of the wide receiver. If that jack doesn't drop in that area, maybe he options to the corner, and that's a touchdown going the other direction.
So it's 1st and 10 Rattlers from the shock 10-yard line. Ronell Pompey checks in for Jared Perry.
Holding.
And there's a holding call. That pass is incomplete, but there's a flag in the offensive backfield. Slow to get up after that play is Brennan Carvalho.
Looks like they both might be on the shock.
Multiple fouls on the play, both by the defense. Personal foul, illegal hands to the face, number 44. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 1. Defense on an eligible receiver. That penalty is accepted. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
So 2 penalties on the defense. And Seth, we made a big deal about James Ruffin in the top of the broadcast for the Spokane, the AFL's leading sacker last season. That is the first time we've heard his name, and it's not in a positive light. He had a hands to the face penalty.
Well, I think he's getting a little frustrated. Simmons looks like he's handling him over there on that left side.
So it's going to be trips to the left of Davila. He's back to throw. Back of the end zone, looking for Perry, who checks back into the game after being shaken up a couple plays ago. Can't haul that one in. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 5 with 8:15 left in the 3rd. Davila's just been so close, but a little outside the outstretched arms of some of his receivers today.
Well, you know, he looks like his timing is just slightly off, but you know, it's the first game. Adrenaline's high, emotions are high. You know, he's settled in and made some great plays, but you know, talking about James Ruffin, he was coming that time, so he had to get rid of it.
Trips again to the left. They're going to dump it off. Intended that time for the tight end, Joe Gibbs. They tried to set up a little trickery there with the fullback and the receivers all on the left side of the field, the far side of the field. And they tried to dump it off to Gibbs, but he can't make the play. Well defended.
It's just a great play by Summers to stay home on that side. Your natural tendency is to want to go ahead and rush the quarterback, but understanding that that's your tight end on that side, and that guy made delay and come out, just being disciplined to stay with your coverage.
3rd down and goal from the 5. Again, it's going to be trips with Deatter in motion. He's going to air it up for Deatter, who guts up there and makes the catch. Touchdown, Rattlers. The Latin Laser connects with Deatter for the 3rd time in this game.
You know, they came back with that route again. He overthrew him the first time. They came back knowing that they had it last time. They came back to that route again and hit it this time. The timing was a little better, put a little more air on it, allowing his taller wide receiver to go up and get the ball. Yeah, go up and get the ball. I mean, that seems like, you know, the mode of thinking. They went out, they lost some receivers. They went out and got some guys, 6'5", 6'6", 6'6" wide receivers who can actually jump and go up and catch the football.
Yeah, he likes those big, Coach Guy does, those big, tall receivers. 49-27, the Rattlers have broken this thing open here in the 3rd quarter with 6:17 remaining. That's Seth Joyner. I'm Jared Cohen. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
All right, Rattlers fans, it's time for tonight's Casino Arizona Throw for the Dough contest. Please welcome tonight's contestant, Paul. All right, there are 4 different locations on the field you can throw from, each representing a different cash value, ranging from $100 to $7,777. You throw a football from one of those locations and hit the Casino Arizona target in the north end zone, and you win that cash. So, Paul, where are you going to throw from? Looks like Paul's going to throw from midfield for $250 in dough. So let's cheer him on. Oh, Paul. Had the right line, not enough distance. Even though you didn't win the big money, we do have an Arizona Rattlers prize pack for you. And thank you, Paul, for playing Casino Arizona's Throw for the Dough contest.
Rattlers have blown this thing open, 50-27 on top of the Spokane Shock. They get points off turnovers after the Jarrett Brown fumble for Spokane, recovered by Tyree Glasper. It's DeAdder from Davila for the third time today to make it 50-27.
You know, it's huge. We talked about the turnovers being one of the keys to this football game. And Arizona's blowing it open. I mean, you know, two fumble recoveries, well, three actual fumble recoveries that have accounted for 21 points in this football game.
That's a huge difference when you talk about arena football. Played off the net. Dodd Masters has some space, gets out into the open field, driven into the first row of seats by Marquis White. And it'll be first and 10 from midfield for Spokane. There is a flag down. Seth Joyner and Jared Cohen here from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center in downtown Phoenix. We'll go down to the field. Referee Scott Campbell to see what the flag is.
Offsides, kicking team. Number 11, 10 yards from the dead ball spot. First down.
Make sure you get your drinks out of the way when players get into the first row. So offsides on the kicking team, don't see that very often.
No.
So that gives some extra yards for Spokane. So instead of being around midfield, it's first and 10 Shock from the Rattlers' 16-yard line. And Brown is back in at quarterback, despite the unfortunate play, his first time in the game. And now he fumbles the snap. Did the Rattlers recover it?
Recovered by Brown.
Brown still holds on to it, but man, oh man. 2 plays, 2 fumbles for Jarrett Brown.
You know, I don't know whether this was the Shock's plan to play Kaufman in the first half and then bring in Brown in the second half. But in light of them not even being able to get the snap from center, they might want to reconsider this move.
Yeah, you're running out of time. You're already down 50-27. Brown will finally throw this time, and it's complete. Wells drives Rod Harper into the first row.
Tackled by Wells.
So Brown completes his first pass of the game. It's the first time he's able to get it out of his hands. And it'll be 3rd and 4 for the Shock. It's going to be trips to the right of Brown. Rashad Carter's going to be the man in high motion. It's going to be press coverage. 3rd and 4. Brown back to throw, looking to his right, has the pressure, almost intercepted. But Antosh Hawthorne and Tyree Glasper providing the pressure, and it's 4th down.
Well, it seemed to me the Rattlers confused him. They dropped the jack. Obviously, he stayed in the box. But the way they dropped him really confused the route. And he was expecting for that receiver to sit down, but because the jack linebacker got in the throwing lane, he had to take it over to the next window.
Didn't have enough time to go through the progressions either because of the great pressure from the D-line. Trips to the right. Carter in motion. Brown back to throw. Pressure again. He's going to run. He's got speed to the 5-yard line. Dives forward and is in for the touchdown.
10 yards for the Spokane touchdown.
So I guess that's what Jarrett Brown brings to the table, is quite a bit of athleticism and speed. He had pressure on him, gets out of the pocket and into the end zone for 6.
Well, maybe that's the adjustment, looking at the escapability of him, just trying to figure out and find out, hey, which one of these guys is going to be our quarterback moving forward.
So now in for the extra point is Taylor Rowan. Has had 1 blocked in this game. Other than that, he's made the rest. The snap is down and the kick is through. 3:10 left here in the third quarter. Still all Rattlers despite the shock touchdown. 50-34, Seth Joyner and Jared Cohen from U.S. Airways Center in Phoenix. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Show us your best smile, ninth man. And you're going to be featured on the Valley Dental Smile Cam. And that's tonight's Valley Dental Smile Cam.
Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from downtown Phoenix. The Rattlers on top of the Spokane Shock, who just got into the end zone off of a rushing touchdown from quarterback Jarrett Brown to make it 50-34. Rattlers on top. Seth, a lot's got to happen here for Spokane to get back into this game. Maybe it starts with a special teams play here. Haven't been very many mistakes from the Rattlers, though.
Well, let's not suggest any mistakes here, Jared.
Don't want to put any bad vibes. I apologize.
But, I mean, if things go as planned, I think the Shock are going to have a difficult time trying to get back into this game.
Jared Perry, well played. He fumbles the ball after he hit the ground, but there's a flag down.
Trying to get back into this game because of the efficiency of the Arizona Rattlers offense.
2:59 is left here in the third quarter. We'll go down to the field to see what the flag is.
Return. Illegal block in the back. Return team number 19. Half the distance to the goal. Arizona's ball. First down.
So it'll be after the penalty, 1st and 10 Rattlers from their own 2-yard line with 2:58 left, up 50-34. The offense has been cruising all game long. Nick Davila, 17-27, 199 yards and 4 touchdowns. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Looking to the far side, and it's overthrown. Look out in the second row. Pass intended for DeAdder, but that was a fastball out of the hands of Nick Davila.
Definitely either the receiver ran the wrong route or the quarterback was way off right there.
So that makes him 17 of 28 in the game. And you got to give credit to Nick, man, because new receivers, new season, still working out the kinks. And despite a few errant passes here and there, he's been awfully efficient for this offense.
Absolutely. And, you know, his confidence doesn't waver even when he misses a throw. He just stands in there and connects on the next one.
Back to throw Davila from his own end zone. DeAdder is there, makes the catch. But there's a flag down. Davila is slow to get up. He got hit hard by Kelly at the end of that play. He'd walk it off, though. We'll go down to the field and see what the penalty is. You're thinking it's holding?
Holding, number 60, offense. The hold occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball be placed at the 1-yard line, still second down.
Well, they were at the 2-yard line anyway, so it just moves them back to the 1. So it'll be 3rd down and 11. Davila was brought down at the end of that play. He was slow to get up. It looked like it was a bang, gets rid of the ball and is tackled, so no roughing is called there. Back to throw, quick to the center of the field. That's going to be incomplete. Big hit laid by Devon Dace on Marquis White to force that ball out. That makes it 3rd and 11.
You know, the way that the Rattlers passing game is, I mean, they set themselves up for so many other things that they can do. It's just a matter of time before they run a stop and go on Dace, because they've been hitting White on that little stop route all game long. And they're going to pick the perfect opportunity to catch him biting off a little more than he can chew and just send White right down the middle on him.
And Davila is sacked in the end zone. A safety. Was it Derek Summers, the Mike linebacker, rushing the quarterback? So a safety given up by the Rattlers makes it 50-36 with 54 seconds left in the third quarter. And that's really the first thing that has gone against the Rattlers in this game.
Well, they seem like they have all verticals or all deep routes on, and they really didn't have an opportunity. Diablo didn't really have an opportunity for the play to develop the way he really wanted it to develop. In that situation, you can't take a sack there. One way or another, you got to get rid of that football. He's got to step up in the pocket. He never really stepped up, and the defense just collapsed on him from both sides.
Yeah, Summers and then James Ruffin, they had great pressure coming around the outside. So the safety, they're going to need to put a string of scores together. This could be their opportunity. They got two there, and now they get the ball back, is Spokane, to try to cut into this lead. 54 seconds left here in the third. And if you're the Rattlers, you can't get complacent, have a nice lead. But this Spokane team has some firepower. We've seen that out of Mike Washington, the receiver, who's made some big plays in this game, has 3 touchdowns.
Well, the Shock have definitely flipped momentum in their favor right here. This is an opportunity for Shelley to really help put the defense in a good position here. If he can get this ball off of one of those iron rods up there, and not allow Washington to get that ball out like he's been getting out, they really need that here.
There's a good kick played off the back wall. It's going to be a touchback. He's going for that lower crossbar, that's for sure. He's been aiming at that all game long. So it'll be 1st and 10 Shock. After the safety, they get the ball back from their own 5-yard line.
Barrier, which the ball becomes dead. Touchback, 1st down, Spokane.
Yeah, and that just went out of the back of the end zone. So that'll be by rule a touchback. Still in a quarterback, Jarrett Brown. First 2 plays of the game for him, he fumbled it. One of them he lost, which led to a Rattlers touchdown. But he seemed to settle in, had a completion and then a rushing touchdown to close out their last offensive drive. Steps up into the pocket, complete over the middle to Washington to about the 14-yard line of the Shock, short of the 1st down. And we're under 20 seconds now here in the third quarter. Maybe enough time to get one more play off before all is said and done. And it looks like they're just going to run the clock out. So we have played 3 quarters here at Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center, and it's been all Rattlers. 50-36 over the Spokane Shock. That's Seth Joyner. I'm Jared Cohen. The 4th quarter coming up next. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Gentlemen, please welcome back to the field the Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders. The Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders, presented by Tan United and Par Excellence Salon.
Back here for the start of the fourth quarter. Arizona Rattlers on top of the Spokane Shock in their first game of the 2015 season, 50-36. But after a safety, the Shock are in business on offense to try to cut into this lead. Time is against them, time is a factor, but they'll try to make some plays here to close this thing out. And it starts with making plays right now on this drive. So it's Rattlers, Brown for the Shock. Throwing downfield, there's a lot of contact. And I think they're going to throw that flag on Marquise Floyd running down the field.
You know, that was an aggressive play. He really didn't have to give that second chuck is really what did it. The ball was going to be overthrown. Then again, he couldn't see it anyway.
He couldn't.
Number 19, defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
I mean, but at the end of the day, those are the kinds of penalties. Those are the kind of penalties they really get you in trouble. I mean, you move 10 yards, keep the play alive, keep momentum on their side.
And they need to score right now. 14 and a half minutes left in this ball game. The Shock trail 50-36. Brown has trips to the right. It's Washington. They try to screen it out in the flats to Carter. It looked like a forward pass to me. And that's what the officials ultimately rule. They tried to swing it out there to Carter. There is a flag down by the line of scrimmage. And we'll go down to the field to see what it is.
Personal foul. Number 7, offense. Block below the waist. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
So as they were creating space for that little screen, Mike Washington is called for a personal foul, and that moves the Shock in the wrong direction. So and after the penalty, it'll be, is it back to 1st and 10?
1st and 20.
So 1st and 20 now. 1st and 20 for the Shock from their own 14-yard line. Yeah, they got a long ways to go. Got to get all the way to the 16-yard line of the Rattlers.
Rattlers just got to play smart here. You know, they're going to try to work the field. I'd imagine try to hit some more of those short to intermediate routes.
Brown over the middle. It's complete to Washington at midfield. Kellum will drag him down. And that gets to about the original line of scrimmage. Gain of about 10 on the play. And Brown, despite getting off to that, shaky start, has been rather efficient throwing the ball. He's completed 3 of his first 4 passes. So now 2nd and 8 with 13 minutes left. 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Brown. Over the middle again, and it's complete. And driven out of bounds is Rashad Carter, and that's enough for a first down. So after a 1st and 20, 2 plays get him more than enough for a first down.
You know, Kellum's trying to guess a little too much right now. On the last play, he was trying to be more aware of the vertical route. Even on that play, as the receiver approached the line of scrimmage, he was almost in a full sprint away from the receiver, giving up too much space underneath and having to come up and make the tackle after the first down.
So it's 1st and 10, Shock into Rattlers territory now, and there's going to be a timeout called. Looks like it might have been a miscommunication.
Timeout. Spokane.
So with 12:36 left in this fourth quarter, we'll take a break. Shock driving down 50-36. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
9th man, when the Rattlers win, you win at Papa John's. Just log on to papajohns.com tomorrow. Use the promo code Rattlers and score 50% off your order. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
12:26 left in the fourth quarter. 50-36 Rattlers on top of the Spokane Shock. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from Ak-Chin Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center. The situation is 1st and 10 Shock. From the 13-yard line, they're going to have trips to the left with Samuel Charles in high motion. Brown runs into his fullback in his back paddle, but still completes the ball across the 5-yard line to Carter. And the Shock now inside the 5-yard line.
I don't know what happened to the jack backer there. It looks like that running back snuck out of the backfield, was wide open out there in the flat.
You know, even though the Shock are moving, they're taking a lot of time off the clock. And there's going to be a stoppage in play. Coaches are discussing something with the referees. Coach Guy's a little upset, drops his playbook. So we'll just reset as if nothing happened. So it's going to be 2nd down and 1 from the 3-yard line for Spokane. They hand the ball off. That's Kelly trying to power his way into the end zone and does. Touchdown Shock with 11:35 left here in the fourth quarter. 2nd touchdown of the game for Kelly. And that makes it 50-42. Into single digits now for Spokane.
That's just straight power running football. And not much you can do about that when your defensive linemen get pushed and blown off the ball. And a back that runs that hard and that aggressive.
So Spokane now, after getting a safety and now an opportunity for an extra point, can make it a 7-point game. The extra point is up and through for Rowan. 10:59 remaining here in the fourth. Spokane has some life. Down 50-43. We'll be back after a short break. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
All right, ninth man, it's time to play Funny or Not Funny. Let's head to section 107 and welcome tonight's contestant, Phil. Phil, welcome to the program. We're going to show you a clip from YouTube, and what you have to do is determine if Rattlers defensive back Marquise Floyd thinks the clip is funny or not funny. Gentlemen, roll the clip, please.
Big black Australorp cockerel, one of 500 birds that are being judged today at the show.
All right, Phil, what do you think? Will Marquise Floyd think that that's funny or not funny?
Wow, now Marquise got a good sense of humor. I think he'd find that funny. That there's funny right there.
All right, you say he's going to find it funny for a Rattlers prize pack. Let's see what Marquise has to say.
Big black Australorp cockerel, one of 500 birds that are being judged today at the show.
Now that was funny.
All right, way to go, Phil. You just won a Rattlers prize pack, and our thanks for playing Funny or Not Funny, starring Rattlers defensive back Marquise Floyd.
Well, the Spokane Shock aren't out of this thing yet. With a lot of time left here in the fourth quarter, they have brought a game that looks once out of reach within 7 points. It's 50-43 after converting a safety on their last defensive possession and then a touchdown on their last offensive possession. And now they're about to give the Rattlers the ball back, but are still in need of a stop to try to come back and tie this game. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from downtown Phoenix. Kick is away from Rowan. A nice spiraled kick. Easily caught by Perry. He's got some momentum behind him. He's got some space up the center of the field. Dives, stumbles forward across. You hate when that midfield line trips you up. But that's what happened, and he's down at the 22-yard line of the shock, but great field position.
We used to call it the turf monster. The turf monster reached up and snatched him down. I think he couldn't believe how much space he had in front of him, how big that hole was. He just got a little excited about taking it all the way to the house.
Man, it was like Moses parting the sea there with the amount of space that he had. But 1st and 10 for the Rattlers. High motion man is White. They get it to the outside. It's complete to Pompey. That's his first catch of the game. Fitzgerald on the stop. 2nd and 2 now after an 8-yard pickup.
See, I'm in favor of this short passing game right here. You know, they haven't been able to stop you offensively all day long, but the thing you want to do also is you want to be able to take some time off the clock and minimize their possessions. Don't give them a chance to get back in this football game.
We're now under 10 minutes left in this game. Trips with Pompey in motion. Center field caught down at the 1-yard line. DeAdder, another catch. Man, ever since he had that early drop, he has had some game. That is now catch number 8 for Chase DeAdder to go with his 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they really look like they've got to find in DeAdder.
They're going to hand the ball off to your boy Benson, trying to get around the edge and pounded at the 1-yard line into the wall. What a play right there by Kelly. Bryson Kelly came out of nowhere, took a perfect angle on it, and stops him at the half-yard line.
Yeah, big boy forgot to get his pads down. You turn that corner like that, I don't care how big you are. I know he's like, well, I see the goal line, and I weigh 270. When you're standing straight up and somebody got leverage on you,
you're going to get checked into the boards.
Absolutely.
Davila's going to keep it himself, and he's pulled backwards. That play doesn't work out. And it's Kelly again. And oh man, 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 fantastic defensive plays in a row by Bryson Kelly as they tried to do the quarterback keeper from the half-yard line, and the offensive line didn't get enough push.
Oh, absolutely. You can't run a quarterback sneak unless you get pushed. Looked like the center got stuffed and nobody could get up on the linebacker, Kelly, and he just came in and slammed him down to the ground.
The only thing that this isn't working in the Shock's favor is we're now about to be under 8 minutes, so this has taken some time off them not getting into the end zone. A throw too high for Benson, incomplete. And they're going to kick a field goal and take the points to make it a 2-possession game, but Coach Guy is not happy. They wanted 6. And he's telling his receivers to get off the field. He is not happy with how that transpired.
Well, I tell you, Summers got up and got in the way and messed that play up and made Davila throw that ball a little higher than he wanted to.
So now Jeremy Shelley, who's made a field goal already, he's missed 1 extra point. This is about from extra point distance, and it's good. Jeremy Shelley knocks down the field goal. So with 7:29 left here in the 4th quarter, back to a 2-possession game for the Rattlers. They're on top of the Shock, 53-43. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner from downtown Phoenix. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Hey, Knife Man, it's time to pump things up with the fist pump cam.
9th man, please direct your attention now to Red TV. Time to get really pumped up. It's time for tonight's fist pump cam. Double fist pump cam. Nice job tonight, ninth man on the fist pump cam.
Hey, ninth man, it's time to rise for your Rattlers.
7:29 left here in the fourth quarter from downtown Phoenix. Seth Joyner alongside Jared Cohen, 53-43. Rattlers on top of the Shock. The Shock have gotten back into this game, got it back within 7, and Shelley knocks down a field goal to bring it back to a 2-possession game. Kick played off the net by Washington. Good coverage right there for the Rattlers, staying in their lanes. DeAdder with the tackle at the 10-yard line.
That was good coverage. They played off the defenders with their hand and just kind of stood there. Anytime you can make a return guy stop and dance a little bit, you've done your job.
And Washington, with the amount of speed that we've seen out of him today, you want to make sure that you cut off any sort of momentum. 1st and 10 Shock from their own 11-yard line. 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Jarrett Brown, who's helped bring the Shock back into this game. And there's a miscommunication on the first play right there, intended for Carter. Carter didn't stop on that route. 2nd down and 10.
It seems like they had a check there. I'm assuming it's a check that he didn't get the check, or either he didn't know he didn't hear what the play was in the huddle. Because he and the quarterback clearly were not on the same page.
Yeah, they were bringing the noise here at Auction Indian Community Field. Messing with the huddle. 2nd down and 10, 6:30 left in this game, the opening game of the season for both the Shock and the Rattlers. The Rattlers in pursuit now of their 4th consecutive Arena Bowl title. That road begins today. Brown back to throw. He's looking deep for Washington and overthrows him. And Kellum, good acting right there, but didn't fool anybody. Ball bounced off of a fan, and he ended up in his hands. But instead, it makes it 3rd and 10.
Hey, sometimes you never know. You just got to play the play.
Oh, yeah, wait till the whistle blows. The old saying. 3rd down position now for the Rattlers defense. Up by 10, 5:45 left. Spokane is going to have to start worrying about the clock, being down 2 scores. They have to score quick. It looks like there's miscommunication once again for Jarrett Brown. And since there was a lot of time left on the game clock, I think he figured, why don't we try to fix this? But instead, Spokane will call a timeout. A lot of confusion. It's the first game of the season for everybody.
On the play clock did run out. The tight end was a little bit confused. We had to declare, and we're going to replay 3rd down.
The tight end was confused.
I've never heard that excuse before. A confused tight end, so we're going to give him a redo. I mean, the clock runs out. The clock runs out.
Yeah,
it's a penalty.
That's a penalty, right? I mean, that's you played a lot deeper into a football career than I did, but I've never seen anything like that before.
No.
So that brings the Rattlers fans to their feet. 5 minutes left in this game. Brown is back to throw. Fumbles it, but gets it himself. Nonetheless, didn't pick up the yards they need on 3rd down. It's going to bring up 4th down from their own 11-yard line, and Tyree Glasper has had a monster game on defense for the Rattlers.
I'll tell you what, the defensive line hasn't gotten a whole lot of pressure tonight, but they're getting there now. They're getting pressure. That's Gilmore there, number 28. That gets there and reaches in and smacks that ball out, but they're getting some pressure now when the game really matters.
And that's a good sign. First game of the year, conditioning not an issue. They're buckling down. Back to throw on 4th down. Brown flushed out of the pocket. It's going to air it out deep. Has a man downfield, and it's way overthrown. Incomplete, intended for Rod Harper, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. There's a flag down, though.
Roughing the passer, number 28.
My goodness.
Defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. 1st down.
Roughing the passer on 4th down on JT Gilmore. and Coach Guy sends him out of the game. But a fresh set it down for the Shock.
Huge play. Huge play. I mean, you got to be smarter than that. It's 4th down. You know you're about to get off the field. And I understand the emotion and whatnot of the game, but you got to understand the situation as well.
So new life for the Shock. 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Back to throw. Intercepted by Keith Brown. He's still on his feet. He's dancing around, crosses midfield and down at the 23-yard line. So the veteran defensive back picks up his teammate and makes a big play. And the Rattlers, with 3:31 left, hold a 10-point lead and are in business.
I'll tell you what, if there ever was a veteran move, that was it. His man ran a hitch. He kept sinking in almost a cover 2 technique, read the eyes of the quarterback and stepped in and really probably took away Kellum's interception because Kellum was right there for the ball. He steps right in front of it. Look at that.
Yep, Kellum was right there too. Great play by Keith Brown, the first interception of the season. Davila going in the end zone on the first play. Fans wanted a PI, but it's incomplete. Intended for Marquis White.
I tell you, I like the killer instinct by Coach Guy. Right after the turnover, hey, let's take a shot, put a dagger in them, put a nail in the coffin right now in this game.
There's 2:50 left here in the 4th quarter. 53-43 Rattlers on top by 10. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner here from downtown Phoenix. Trips to the left with Perry in high motion. Davila flushed out. He's going to throw on the run, and it's incomplete, intended for Jared Perry. There's a scrum afterwards. Sam Pope acted like he came up with the interception, but the officials rule it incomplete. 2:20 left, and Spokane's going to have to start thinking about timeouts here. They have 2 left. The Rattlers can just drive this clock down as far as they want. They're going to be able to drop it under 2 minutes, and Spokane is down 2 scores. So it's 3rd and 10 now for the Rattlers from Spokane's 22-yard line. Over the middle, complete to DeAdder, and a first down inside the 10-yard line.
That'll pretty much seal the deal right there. I tell you, Diablo's made a living in the middle of the field today. Between DeAdder and White sitting it down in the middle of the field, I mean, he's just been eating them up with those crossing routes. Between the 10 to 15-yard stops and the crossing routes.
9 catches, 73 yards, and 3 scores for Chase DeAdder. Nick Davila now 20 of 35 for 234 and 4 scores. Perry in high motion. Pressure and sacked. Nice play right there. Basically untouched was Derek Summers. That sends the Rattlers all the way back to the 14-yard line, a loss of 6.
I tell you, Summers has had himself quite a day as well. I think that's his 2nd sack in the game.
He had the safety, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But 1 minute left with the timeout on the field. Rattlers on top by 10. In the driver's seat to end this one, but you want to really put this one away, and they haven't been able to do that exactly just yet.
Well, with 1 minute left, I think it's pretty much a wrap.
Pretty much.
I think Coach Guy's a little disappointed, in them having to take that sack right there. They always want to finish things off the right way. Sometimes how you win is as important as the fact that you do win. And, you want to finish the game off the right way.
2nd and 14 after the sack. A flag down. There was movement on the defensive line. It's a free play, and it's caught by Jared Perry on the far side inside the 5-yard line. That flag, no doubt, is going to be on the defense, so it should be declined, and it'll be 1st and goal Rattlers with 55 seconds left.
Illegal formation. Defense, the nose guard was out of his stance prior to the snap. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
So the Rattlers picking up that first down, have all but sealed this one now.
Third down and goal.
Be first and goal. Nick Davila now, 21 of 36, 246, and 4 scores with that catch for Jared Perry. He's just under the century mark, 6 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
So two receivers with 6 or more catches and 70 more yards. That's efficiency, and they're not named Rod Windsor or Maurice Purify, so that's promising for the Rattlers. They hand it off to Benson, and he's in for the score. The way the game started is the way it'll finish. Michael Benson, his second touchdown of the game, and the Rattlers will seal it with a score.
Great play call in that situation. They brought the motion man around, made it look like they were sending him out. Then they flared him like they was going to run a little bubble screen to him and handed it off to Benson for the touchdown there.
And Benson just plows his way through. Again, touchdown, number 3 on the day for Michael. 7 carries, 16 yards, and 3 scores. And now Jeremy Shelley in for the extra point to make it a 60-43 game. Kick is up and through, and he does just that. 53 seconds left in this one. The Rattlers are going to move to 1-0 to start their 2015 season. Jared Cohen and Seth Joyner will wrap things up here from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center after a break. You're listening to Arizona Rattlers football.
Time to announce tonight's winner of our 50-50 raffle. Your ticket is L28839. Congratulations, you've won $2,248. Claim your prize right now at Guest Relations outside Section 117. All right, ninth man, it's free t-shirt time for the best fans in arena football. Compliments of Auction Ultra-Star Entertainment Center. You know how to get one, make some noise!
.53 seconds left here from downtown Phoenix. The Arizona Rattlers are on top of the Spokane Shop, 60-43. The Rattlers averaged 63.9 points per game last season, which was best in the Arena League. And they are going to be just shy of that in their first game of the season, hitting that 60-point mark. They'll kick it off here and look to wrap things up. Seth, your overall impressions today from the Rattlers in their first game of the season?
Well, I think they were very efficient on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they got a couple of things, to work on for the upcoming weeks. I think that, when you get game film and you see where teams have been vulnerable, other teams are going to come back and challenge you in those places unless you shore it up. Kellum's a good player, but he struggled in the first half with trying to figure out the difference between that motion guy and that slot guy, whether he was running a sit-down route or whether he was going a go route. And they had him in no man's land for quite some time. And I'm sure they're going to see that in upcoming weeks.
Absolutely.
They turned the ball over on defense. Great special teams. All 3 phases they've operated and played well today. They can take that away for this being the first game of the season. It's a plus.
Brown is going to run after he's forced to scramble. Gets to about the 14-yard line. Clock still running, 42 seconds left.
I think the difference between Brown and Kaufman, Kaufman is pretty decisive with the ball when he's in there. He's going to throw the ball where it's supposed to go on time and in rhythm. I think Brown is a guy, that's probably they're getting him some playing time, trying to figure out if he can figure this thing out. I'm not really sure he knows where he needs to or where he really wants to go with the ball. Kaufman throws the ball on rhythm, where the route breaks, and he's waiting for the receiver to get open to actually deliver the ball. That's the difference in the two quarterbacks I've seen tonight.
Brown completes that last pass to Washington. If you're the head coach of Spokane, who do you go with in the next game to start? What kind of skill set do you think stood out a little bit more in this game?
Well, I didn't think Kaufman played all that bad. I mean, as a matter of fact, I thought he played extremely well in the first half. They just had the turnovers that were the difference in the game. It wasn't necessarily, his play. This kid is making some plays right now, but, this is really junk time.
Yeah.
When the game is, really on the line, when the game hangs in the balance, that's the time you want to see what he can do. But Kaufman looked like he played a pretty good football game to me. I don't understand whether he was hurt or whether they're competing for the starting job or what it is, but I didn't see that he should have came out of the football game.
After that completion for Mike Washington, 8 catches, 128 yards. 9 catches now for 141 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's been by far the biggest threat for this Spokane team here today.
He has owned the middle of the football field today.
Running out of that slot position like you mentioned. He's fast. Brown back to throw. He's running around, gets away from Hawthorne, and he just stumbles forward when he sees big Cliff Dukes running right after him. With 4 seconds left, they'll call one more timeout so they can try to run one more play and try to get in the end zone on the final play of the game.
I mean, that's the benefit of having a guy that can escape. A player's never did. But sometimes, if you got the right defense and you can confuse a guy like that who won't go through his progressions and throw the ball where it's supposed to go, instead of throwing receivers open, he's waiting for guys to break open. That's going to cause you some problems.
So final play of the game, 4 seconds left. Jarrett Brown under center for Spokane. We'll have some reaction, a short recap of the game after this final play, and the clock strikes 0. Jarrett Brown back to throw. Throws to the middle of the field. It's caught by Washington. Catch number 10, short of the end zone, and that'll do it. The final here from Auction Indian Community Field at U.S. Airways Center. The Rattlers start their 2015 season 1-0 with a 60-43 win over the Spokane Shock. So we'll talk a little bit of stats here in a moment. First, Rattlers move to 1-0. Seth, some positives, some negatives you take away from the Rattlers here in game 1.
Well, the big thing at the end of the day is to get the wins. I'm sure as a coaching staff and as a team, they'll sit down and look at the film and determine the things that they did well, the things they did really well, and the things that they did so-so, and the things that they did really bad. And it'll take a little bit of time for them to iron those things out and figure it all out. But at the end of the day, I thought they looked good overall. I think they looked good in all 3 phases.
When you look at Spokane, a team that came out fast, made a couple mistakes, found themselves down, but were still able to fight their way back into the game to get it within 1 possession in the 4th quarter. A lot of positives you can take out of a game for a team that hasn't exactly had the Rattlers' number over the last couple seasons.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they just moved to 9-1. Well, 1-9 lifetime, here, at the Snake Pit against the Rattlers, which isn't good for them. But, they played a great football.
Well, we're never going to undermine a win. We did good offensively. We got to get better from week 1 to week 2. We're not trying to win a championship in week 1. It's a work in progress. We got a lot of work to do. We'll get better.
And it seems like defensively, every time you needed a big play, you got one tonight.
Yeah, we got a lot of leaders on this team on defense. Guys played well tonight. We gave up a couple of scores on 4th down, but we'll make those corrections. We'll get better from week 1 to week 2.
Congratulations on the win. Good luck in Las Vegas next week. Kevin Guy of your victorious Arizona Rattlers.
So that's Vince Marotta, the public address announcer here at U.S. Airways Center with head coach Kevin Guy after the win. Going back to what you were saying, though, about what you saw out of Spokane and how they can take a lot of positives out of this.
No, absolutely. I mean, for them to be able to play as solidly as they played for the first half, I mean, you got to protect the football, though. I don't care at what level that you're playing the game of football, you have to protect it. And there's a statistic that says that teams that turn the ball over 2 times probably lose 75% of the games that they play. They turned the ball over at least 4 to 5 times today, so they should have had no expectation of winning this football game, although they came back and fought valiantly in the second half and pulled it within 8 at one point.
Taking a look at some of the stats first for the Spokane Shock. 2 quarterbacks played in the game. They had Carson Kaufman, who was 11 of 21 for 156 yards and 3 scores. And then Jarrett Brown in the second half came in 7-11 for 73 yards. Rushing the football, Jarrett Brown out of a scrambling situation, 2 rushes for 19 yards and a score. Bryson Kelly had 2 scores rushing the ball for the Shock. And receiving the ball, leading the way, Mike Washington, 9 catches, 141 yards, and 3 scores. Behind him, Rashad Carter, 6 catches for 67 yards. Those are what led the way for the Shock. Now looking at the Arizona Rattlers, Nick Davila, solid game as always. 21 of 36, the reigning MVP, threw for 246 yards and 4 touchdowns. My guy over here, Seth Joyner, fell in love with Michael Benson here today in his first game at the fullback spot. 7 carries, 16 yards, 3 scores, and then this is what really stands out. A key to the game was establishing the depth at wide receiver with so many of your main guys from last season not playing. 5 guys caught passes in this game, 3 of them for 4 or more, led by 9 catches, 73 yards, and 3 scores for Chase DeAtter, 6 catches, 98 yards, and a score for Jared Perry, and Marquis White, big 6'7" Marquis White, 4 catches, 57 yards, 1 catch each also for Michael Benson and Ronell Pompey. We go back to our keys of the game and kind of come full circle, starting with the receiving situation for the Rattlers, how that was solved and how they were able to work through it.
Well, I don't really think that they have any concerns as far as that's concerned if DeAtter and White continue to play the way that they played today. At 6'5" and 6'7", they're going to pose a problem for many secondaries throughout the league for the remainder of the season. Now, can they stay healthy and can they continue to catch the ball the way they caught the ball today? If that's the case, I don't think they're going to have any worries about what they've lost, given the fact that you've got a proven leader in Davila.
Protecting Davila was a big key. James Ruffin led the AFL in sacks last season. They did a pretty good job with him and a pretty good job for the most part protecting Nick, even though they gave up a safety and a couple sacks in the game.
Well, I think that the safety was his fault. He's got to step up in the pocket and get rid of that football and understand the situation. Although I believe Summer got to him maybe 3 times today, but for the most part, they protected him well. They only flushed him out of the pocket twice, and on both of those occasions, he still wound up making something really good happen. He turned something great into absolutely nothing. So I think the protection was solid, and when it wasn't solid, the 2 or 3 times that it wasn't solid throughout the day, 2 times out of those 3 times he was able to still make something happen.
And the final key was forced turnovers, and they got plenty of that both from defense and special teams in this game.
Well, defense accounted for 1 turnover. You had 3 fumble recoveries and an interception. I think anytime that you can come into a game and generate 5 turnovers, you've done your job as a defense for the day, and you've given your offense the opportunity and the chance to go out and do what it has to do to win the football game.
That's former NFL linebacker Seth Joyner joining us on the broadcast today. The Rattlers are back in action next week at Las Vegas. So an inaugural team, Las Vegas. The Rattlers will play them for the first time. That's a 7:30 kickoff in Vegas on April 4th. Our next broadcast on ESPN3 will be Saturday, April 18th against the Portland Thunder, a rematch of the first